How's it going? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone. So we are on almost the last step of our discussion on setups for our guitar. The last time we were together, we discussed intonation. And so now that everything is set, now that the playing surface is set, now that we've got the neck the way we want it, we've got the string height the way we want it, the guitar is, the mechanical action of the guitar is playing exactly how we want it. Now then, we go ahead and we move the pickups to that. Okay, so we do this kind of the last. We want to adjust our pickup height. So how do we do that? Well, obviously we just take a screwdriver and we just raise the pickups up and down. Is there any method to our madness when we do this? There's a couple of kind of rules of thumb that people use. One of them is, and this is kind of the process that we use, is if you fret the last note and then you just use this as a baseline, okay? I'm going to tell you this right now, pickup height is very, very subjective, okay? It can be affected by a lot of things. It can be affected by having two different types of pickups, like maybe there's a P90 here and a humbucker here, or maybe there's a humbucker here and a single coil in the neck. Maybe there are two humbuckers, but they're wound very differently or have different magnets, that sort of thing. So this is very subjective. But one way to start your pickup height procedure, just to kind of get yourself going, is if you fret the last note on the low E string, and then 150 thousandths of an inch is kind of hard to know what that is, but it's 2 times in a nickel typically. I don't like to go quite that far. I go a little closer. I would say probably 2 dimes, or maybe a little more than 2 dimes, between the neck pickup here and the low E string. And do the same thing on the high E string. And then play the guitar, okay? And switch between your neck pickup and your bridge pickup, and then move the bridge pickup to balance. If you can't get it into balance, say you move it all the way as close to the strings as you feel comfortable and the neck pickup is still too loud, then maybe at that point you can lower the neck pickup down a little bit and get some balance there. Again, this is a very relative thing. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, if I get it too close, there's going to be magnet pull on my strings, you're going to pull me out of tune, intonation, that sort of thing. If you use the 150 thousandths rule as a rule of thumb and adjust from there, you won't have a problem with magnet pull. We have an entire video on the myth of magnet pull. Now, it is a real thing, but on a properly adjusted guitar, you will not have a problem, okay? And a lot of people say you will, but mathematically, it's basically impossible if you have if the guitar is adjusted properly, okay? So that's on a 2 pickup guitar, okay? So fret the last note, raise this one up to about 150 thousandths or so, adjust the bridge one to match. If you can't get it to match, then kind of split the difference between them and get them to match. What if we have 3 pickups? Let me grab a Strat and I'll show you what we can do then. All right, so here's my old Strat. Had this thing forever. So basically, we're going to do really the same thing. We're going to fret the last note. We're going to set our neck pickup. Then we're going to set our bridge pickup, switching back and forth and playing until we get the balance that we like, okay? And that's different for everybody. Sometimes somebody wants it exactly the same volume. Sometimes somebody wants the neck a little louder. Sometimes somebody wants the bridge a little louder. The only difference is on a Strat, now we have a middle pickup to factor in there. Now, all this, in my opinion, this is just opinion, but in my opinion, and you can do it whichever way you want, but to me, the Strat is all about the notch positions. So position 4 and position 2, right? because position 4 especially, the second one from the top, that's what a Strat is supposed to sound like. A lot of that tone comes from the difference between the two pickups, okay? The relative difference between the two pickups. A, how they're wound, B, the magnet strength, and C, the pickup height. So once you get the two outer ones set the way you want them, then go into this notch position and just mess with this neck pickup until it gives you that nice tubular round sound that you like with a Strat. Maybe you don't like that sound. Maybe you like it to sound a little different. But this pickup right here is kind of a variable. You can move it in and around how you like it. Now, if you just want the loudness intensity to be the same as the other three pickups, then just put it in the middle and adjust it like you would a 3-pickup guitar with a 3-way switch, okay? But if you're really concerned about that Stratty kind of tone, put it in the notch position and just start playing with it until you get that tone that you really, really like in a Strat. For me, I like to lower it a little bit and give it a little distance away from the strings. It's going to give you a little less amplitude, a little less volume. It's going to bring out the neck pickup a little bit more, which to me is the sweet one. But that phasing that happens between those two is going to be perfect. That's the way I like to set it. But again, pickup height, as a rule, there aren't any. If you use this kind of rule of thumb, fret the last note, 150 thousandths at the neck, adjust the bridge to match, split the difference if you have to, and then from there it's just kind of relative to how you want to play, and also it's relative to, like I said, the pickup design. You might need to make a move it around a little bit, and then you'll be fine. My name is Dylan. This is Dylan Talks Tone. This has been pickup height adjustment. This one's not that hard. So if you have, and here's the other thing I'll tell you before we go. If you have a guitar that you don't like the pickups in, or you don't like the tone, go do this. Go through your entire setup on your guitar. Start with your truss rod, then check your nut height, check your string height, check your intonation, and then finally check your pickup height. And decide if you can get the tone that you want to get from this thing, and you'll be ready to go. My name is Dylan. This is Dylan Talks Tone, and we'll talk to you next time.